And just allow yourself to drop in, connecting with the earth within you, connecting with the earth beneath you. As you connect with the earth within you, allow your attention to rest upon your heart. And start to trace the veins upon your physical heart. Bring your mind completely into the blueprint of your veins. As you trace, you start to merge your veins with the veins of the leaf. Fresh emerald leaves. Veins that carry the wisdom of Mother Earth and the cosmic stars. And allow yourself to be the bridge between the cosmos and Earth. Allow yourself to remember who you truly are. The highest form of cosmic embodiment. An amalgamation of the universal life force and the earthly life force. Allow your heart to remember for you. Taking a moment to connect the rainbow bridge that is in the core of your body. First from the heart. Let the light connect through the channel up into your third eye. And then downward to the place below the navel. And let the channel light up. It is with this gratitude and appreciation and reverence and love that I invite in Tea Spirit to be with us today. And I invite you all to feel into her presence. She has a unique transmission for every single one of you. And so allow yourself to receive. If you have already a ritual of connecting with tea, the spirit herself, even more easily you can slip in and out. You can literally feel her all the time. If you drink tea like Phoebe does, a tea enthusiast, and you've never seen tea the way that I have just spoken about, we're gonna dive in. But for now, just allow yourself to connect with her spirit. Connect with her as a subliminal presence. as an ally who really, all she really is here to do is to hold you in so much love, so much grace, as she walks with you to merge with your divine consciousness in every way, in ceremony and beyond ceremony, to walk and live a life of ceremony. And when you're ready, you can slowly come back into the space. Keep the energy of this consecration alive within you. Let it evolve. And if you'd like to share, if T has already dropped the transmission for you, feel free to share that in the comments. And we shall slowly move in. Okay, so how's everyone feeling? Let me know how you are. And if you're new here, welcome. My name is Li Ying, and I am rooted in earth, channeling the infinite. I am here as a channel of the pure divine light, and T is my ally. T Spirit has worked with me for all the time that I've been here serving, being in light service. And before this life, before stepping into this work, some of you probably have heard the story of how really lost I was, truly. And T-Spirit has really opened up a life for me. Hello, Ilana. Oh my goodness, I'll read your comments in a bit. Welcome. T-Spirit has really opened up a completely new world for me when I connected with her in 2019. I had no idea the world was going to shut down or whatever that was going to happen. All I really did was I accepted the mandate. I accepted the words that T-Spirit streamed to me very clearly in the first ceremony I attended, like accidentally even. And she said to me, you have to drop everything you know and go and serve T. And I remember speaking about this with someone who actually I'm going to meet in a bit for a podcast interview. Hello, Mel, welcome. And she said to me, that must have been quite a big shock to your system. Like, how could anyone even digest something that huge in their lives? And for me, I definitely felt the level of, I just had to plug in my battery. I just realized my laptop wasn't being charged. But anyway, human things. So I definitely had a human moment, of course. I definitely had a human moment because I thought, what the heck is that? Like, how could I even do this? Like, I am like the clumsiest person in the world. Nobody in my family does things like that. Like, who am I to do this? Who am I to even honor this calling? And I feel like that's a point in my life where I could have literally said, it's not for me, and turn around and continue to do whatever I was doing, knowing that it wasn't enough for me. It was a mediocre life, because I truly feel like when I came across the invitation to the tea ceremony, it was it was a response to what I put out into the universe at the time. I literally felt it. It was a moment that I felt in my heart that I feel like there's something more to the life that I'm living, but I don't know what it is. And that was when she appeared. And in many ways, I feel that tea spirit appears in moments like this. And mind you, I was drinking a lot of tea for a long time already when I met her. But the tea that I was drinking, and this is so significant in so many ways as well, because I wasn't working with, I wasn't drinking tea that was from my own heritage, because I always had this prejudice for my heritage. I used to want to rip away my skin, literally. Like I would just look at myself and I would think, why can't I have blue eyes and blonde hair? Like how sick of myself I used to think I looked. And I obviously, no surprises there, suffered from years and years of anorexia. And it wasn't until I met T and started working with her very deeply that I started to feel, and in fact, in the first ceremony, I saw very clearly the vision of my late grandmothers. They were sitting by a cauldron, and the cauldron was boiling, and I just had this knowing, even though we didn't have any words exchanged. I just knew that she was sitting there, they were sitting there, lineages, like lifetimes of women in my lineage, sitting there waiting for the cauldron to come to perfect boil so that they can ladle it out and share the bowls of tea. And for me, that was the beginning of a forgiveness that I had to work through with myself. And that forgiveness, it was an experience that tea spirit really gave me, because it was a level of love that I can't even describe. It's cosmic. It's all encompassing. It's the frequency of the divine. And from there, I began to really find so much depth and beauty in not just myself, the way I am, the way I am in this lifetime that I chose to be, by the way, that when we come here, all of us actually, let's put it that way, when we descend, we come in here, we become physical beings, we are descending into this density. We already made a choice to be the chosen one. The chosen one who, and that was actually one of the biggest things that came to me last month, that was born during a meditation, that we chose to come here. We chose the pain, we chose the being, we chose the people, we chose the lessons, we chose all of those things. And walking with tea spirit has allowed me to really recognize so deeply that sovereignty isn't in freeing ourselves from external circumstances. Sovereignty is in feeling deep inner peace no matter what. No matter what. You know, we try to control our external circumstances. We try to, you know, I saw today, like, you know, like how we are doing all the work and we're trying so hard to release ourselves from the past, the past self, the lower self, like all of those things, right? But if there's any ounce of judgment, embarrassment, or even hate for that version, the lower self, it's like you are not actually really free as well. Take a deep breath. If you feel me, let me know. Ilana, let me see. A new level of embodiment, loving my body as grace, would have her move slowly as a wavy line. I love that. Absolutely. Tea spirit as beauty. Yes. Who are your tea ancestors, may I ask? So this is such a beautiful question. And I want to share something that happened this week in ceremony with a beautiful package of tea. It was a gift from one of my tea brothers based in Colorado, and he works with what we call living tea. So living tea is very much rooted in the concept that we are working with teas that are pesticide and chemical free, irrigation free, so they don't work with anything artificial. We allow the bugs and bees to work with the trees and the bushes so that the leaves are naturally cultivated the way that they're meant to. And of course, loving artisanal farmers who know exactly when they feel into it, they know, okay, the leaf needs to be produced in this way so that we can bring out the best in the leaves. So I got the package from him, and I saw a tea package that was from Anhui in Fujian, China. And I sat with the leaves and I drank it in ceremony. I tapped into her intelligence, and something about it, the spirit was saying to me that this is your ancestral land. This is something to do with your ancestral land. And it was such a beautiful experience. And I texted my dad afterwards and I asked him, is this place, like I took a photo like of the packet of tea, and I said, is this place where our ancestors are from? And he said, yes, exactly that place, because the province is huge. So when they have like a tiny name for it, like that area, that village, I sent it to my dad and he said, yep, that's the place. And I just had like a full body shimmer, because I just felt like I was led by spirit. I wasn't using my logic to think a lot about it. And I just kind of like moved with it, and this was presented to me, right? So every step of the way just feels very divinely led. And I think it has to be said that, you know, on certain levels, when we are working with the divine, or when we are on this journey, on this path, I mean, what is the thing that why are you doing this? Why are you here? Like, if you can tell me, please do. Like, you know, I often ask this question. It's like, what is the whole point? Why are you here doing this work? Because it's important to ask this question, and it's important that you do really feel into it. Whether you want to share that in the comments, please do if you want to. If not, you can feel into it yourself. But that level of inquiry is required, because so many things in our lives, it is already so superficial. It is already so superficial that not a lot of people actually understand or really recognize what is depth, what is divine connection, what is living a life where God lives through you. What does it mean to be so tapped into your intuition? It is not, you know, oh, flipping the tarot card and I can tell you. I mean, all these things are amazing, right? You're psychic, you're intuitive, you are a healer even, right? You are feeling the earth's frequency, and you can read the stars, you can do all the things. And the great shamans of the ancient times, the great ancient ones, they lived that way. They lived as God lived through them. And nothing has actually changed. Nothing has changed about that. It's just that we have allowed our minds, the logical mind, to take over so much that we don't remember, we forgot that we are gods in human flesh. And honestly, tea, like I said before, Phoebe was in the last session, I think I said it in that session that perhaps tea as a medicine, as a wise one, is not talked about anymore these days. Not much. Mainly because there are so many arguments and discussions and analysis about who's right and who's wrong, like which tea is better, which tea is worse. And when it comes down to it, everyone has forgotten about the spirit. Everyone's just talking about the flavors, the scent, where it's from, what tree it is, spectacular farmers, this and that, how much money is being made in the commodification of tea, that we have forgotten about the spirit. And because tea spirit is so quiet, she doesn't shout, she doesn't push or force. She's got this frequency of the Buddha, and that's why in Zen they have worked with tea since time immemorial. They would have ceremonies for tea. They would have non-verbal transmissions with tea. Together, the disciple and the master with tea, the master transmits to the student. And then there is and then because they use so much tea, they started to plant trees and bushes around the temples, and that was part of the Zen practice. And that's why there is a saying, Zen and tea are one flavor. That is the ceremony we are talking about. Yes, tea can be drank in many ways. You can sit with your grandmother and drink from a big mug and it will still be beautiful. You can sit at your desk with your laptop, you can still drink tea and it still be beautiful. Because tea herself is already full of wisdom, full of the calming essence. And it is the essence of our being that she is reminding us of. So if we start to drop the idea that it is a separate thing from us, and when we drink her in, just like this, not even in a ceremony, right? You already are starting to activate a remembrance in you. You're starting to activate that, right? Ilana's saying, I am on a threefold path. The beauty path, my intuition is a leader. She walks blind and lands in divine mirror lands. Oh my goodness. That sink in, my love. That sink in. Yeah, thank you. Thank you for listening. Thank you. So if there's anything I would love to share with you today is becoming aware is a skill that we are here to harness. Yes, we all have that divinity in us. We all have that power in us. But whether we become aware, firstly, or we are asleep to it, which is really what's going on most of the time in the world when we are giving our power away, that is not okay. Like that, nobody gets to sleep in my space. That is what drives me. That is what lights me up. That is what fires me up, because we all hold this incredible power in us. And I don't think we actually recognize that enough. The minute we say that we cannot do something or we cannot be something because blah, 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 you name it, fill in the blanks. We forgot who is the creator of your life. We forgot, and you are making something else your God. Okay, take a deep breath into this. And I cannot tell you how many times I have had moments when I really, really resented my life. I really did. Oh, if only you could see. Back in the days when I walked in the dark and I didn't want to even look at myself in the mirror. Back in the days when I couldn't even speak the way I do now. And quite recently too, I was thinking, maybe I don't have any purpose here to serve, because I was so wrapped up in the illusion that nobody wants me. You see, the minute we start to think in that way, nobody wants me, I am not good enough, we are separating ourselves from Source. You see? You are not separate. You can't be one singular wave that is on its own. You can't be. There is an ocean, and therefore there is a wave. Yes? If there's no ocean, there is no wave. Right? Sometimes we have to really drop into these spaces where we begin to engage with the truth, our truth first. And then we go out and engage with the world. And hell, we need more leaders like this than ever. Because there's a lot of impulsiveness and not a lot of intuition going on in this world right now. When I see different modalities, of, and this is because I'm an avid reader, I love reading different kinds of sacred texts and all the things that are happening in the world that is really captivating the modern audience, I would say. That's the best way to put it. And a lot of times people would ask, like, how do you stay connected with your divinity? How do you stay connected with your vision? How do you stay connected with your truth despite what's happening in the world, and especially in the times that we're in right now, right? How can that be possible? How can this be possible? How can we create the life that we truly desire when there is so many things in the world that is actually snagging our energy and our attention? Well, first and foremost, let me tell you this. If you do not acknowledge and if you do not see the power that you hold as a woman, and I know there are some men here, but hang on to your hats, as a woman who is divinely attuned, as a woman who is multidimensional. I was telling my client today in our tea ceremony activation together, I was saying, like, do you know how much power you actually hold? Like, to choose to come into a mentorship space, to walk the sacred path, to cultivate your essence, to choose to work with the unseen so that you can embody the infinite in this life, in this earthly experience, because that is what all of us are here to do. We descended here to do this. Do you recognize the power that you truly have in you? Because not everyone would do that. A lot of people choose to numb. They choose to lie on their couch and watch Netflix. They choose to self-harm. They choose to sabotage. They choose to not hear it. They choose to be skeptical, because believing their true divine essence feels a lot scarier, and they can't deal with it. Because when you really open up your eyes and you see past the illusions, seeing that everything is living and sacred, it's a whole other world. It's a whole other timeline. It's a whole other multiverse. And that was what happened for me when I met T-Spirit, when I accepted, when I stepped into service. And I'm not saying you have to step into service to experience that, although that is always an option when the calling is strong. But when you are able to feel into your divinity, you can absolutely, and this is what God gave you as an incredible gift, free will. You can slam the door shut. Forget about it. I don't want to see it. I don't want to hear it. Or you can walk the way, the pathless path. You know, Ilana is saying union here. When we come into a ceremony, and I spoke about T-Spirit, so now I'm bringing the ceremony in. The ceremony is the masculine energy that holds space for the feminine, which is T-Spirit, to move through, to do her thing in the energy field, ushering you, your soul, into the 0 point field. Again, modern, the modern audience is captivated by this, like the quantum field, like how do we go quantum? How do we leap? How do we stay there? How do we blah, blah, blah? Like, the ceremony does all of that. The ceremony does all of that. And the work that I do here with tea, I call it a tea ceremony activation, because it truly is a bridge between the seen and the unseen. You have probably never experienced tea ceremony like this before, because it is something that truly was born out of a lived experience that I have with tea. And it took me a long time to actually step in and say, it is something I have channeled myself with tea. Of course, not in an egoic way, but like, it's different. It's different from any other tea ceremony you've ever been. And that is why it works in a setting of a mentorship space. It's not the one thing, and it is part of everything. If you truly, truly, truly want to fill yourself up with the frequency of self-reverence, self-worth, harmony, tranquility, like embodied inner peace, it has to start from within you. And this is the beauty of the work that we're here to do, because it comes with you everywhere you go. It comes with you everywhere you go. And you learn to build your energy field. You learn to activate your essence, your matter and your spirit become one and the same. They're not separate. And I think this is what I'm seeing a lot, is that a lot of times people come into this work thinking that the spirit and the matter, The spirit and the human are different. They're separate things, but they are not. They're not separate things. Right? They're not separate things. And you and I know this. As multidimensional women, for goodness sake, like, stop fixing yourself. Stop. You don't need to do more. This is why the space that I create is for you to unfold. It's for you to stop naming everything, to stop controlling and stop fixing and start to unfold. Really, like an exhale. A deep exhale. Will you exhale with me? Will you exhale with me? Right? And when you trust the leaf to be your guide, the more deeply you learn to listen, the more you can really tap into the transmissions that are coming through for you. And that is when you start to really embody the truth of who you are, which is divine consciousness, which is source, which is pure divine light. It's so simple, and yet it's so profound and so moving. It is so beautiful. Becoming an energetic match to your highest self. And here's the core thing that I want to finish the sentence with, because too often we focus, there's this hyper focus on how do I become a higher self? Like, how do I tap into my higher self? How do I, we'll get there. And you will see the higher selves of all others. Everything is woven together. Your mirror is your reality. But what's internal, your internal landscape, is where you journey, where you drop into so deeply. So it isn't always about ascending, my loves. It's not always about ascending and ascending and ascending. Yes, as a collective, we are ascending 3D to 4D. We're moving through the chaos of the birth. It's messy. But we must never lose sight. We must never lose sight of that cosmic stillness that we truly are here to embody. Stillness that is so still because the frequency is so high. It's light years of movement. Right? So now more than ever, this is a call for all of us who can really tap into that unseen realm to step up, to really step up, to really recognize our power, first and foremost. If we're still thinking like, how can I fit in? Like, how can I be, like mediocre? Like, then the conversation's not going to go anywhere. It's not going to go anywhere. And so the first thing that T did for me was to clear out all of those misconceptions, those illusions that were holding me down. And by God, of course, I had lived some experiences that truly could have broken me, because I thought, what the frack? I thought I was reclaiming my power, and I had to go through all of that to reclaim my power. Yes. Talk about friends who scammed my money. Talk about, teachers who didn't have the best interest in heart. But you know what? Honestly, I'll tell you this. Honestly, I can sit here and tell you this. I actually don't see that it was their fault anymore. I used to think those things were holding me back big time, honestly. Now I just see it so clearly, like it was a mirror of all the things in me that I was seeking for outside validation. And if I didn't have this practice, if I didn't have this beautiful spirit walking with me, I don't know how I would be like today. I don't think I would be sitting here speaking with you, truly. And you know, the interesting thing is, I started talking about how the divine revealed herself to me. And I used to be so ashamed and kind of like, you know, awkward about talking about tea spirit, because I thought nobody's going to understand it. Nobody has heard about it. It's not like cacao, right? But I'm so fucking proud of her. She's never left me. She's never said to me like, oh, you are ashamed of me, I'm gonna leave you now. Never. And it makes me so emotional to say, you know, after 1 freaking year, well, 2 years almost actually, 2 years of doing this work, of talking about liminal spaces, of creating spaces where we connect with the divine, where we let God live through us as God, not from the outside, you know, on a wall, but God within, God as us, for us, through us. I'm starting to get people coming into my life saying, we want you to talk more about this. I want to hear all about this. This is incredible. But you know, when I first started, it wasn't like that. Nobody cared. Nobody gave a shit. And again, I wouldn't be here if I didn't have tea spirit steadying me, telling me, keep going, you've got this, I see you. You know, detaching from all the measuring sticks that we can so easily believe is true because society sees it, society acknowledges it. So easy, right? But it's time for us to really recognize our inner light, the superpower we hold, which is peace, inner peace, despite the chaos, despite it all. I am at peace with myself, and therefore I am at peace with you loving me. Let's love me if you love me. Hate me if you hate me. That's okay. If you don't resonate, it's okay. If you resonate, I love it. Thank you. Thank you for letting me know. But it's all good because it's one continuum of the same life force, which is me. So if I care a little bit more about you not liking me, then I am giving it excess potential. If I like a little bit more about you loving me, I'm giving that excess potential. So my work here is to really refine my balance, my effortless connection with source that is me, and not have to need something to carry me in my life. And it's the same for you. And again, this happens in the liminal spaces where Tea Spirit guides and teaches and reveals. And in more in ceremonies that I have activations where I work with clients in deeper mentorship spaces, I get to also work with your energy field in that space because it's very clear, it's very crystalline. I'm a pure channel of light. I'm not standing in my way, like my human is not standing in the way, right? And incredible synchronicities just pop like popcorn, because that is how the divine works. That is what living a life of ceremony is like, right? Okay, I feel like I am just moving through so much And there's a lot that I haven't said, but the energy is already streaming very powerfully. And this is what happens every time I wear Tea Spirit. Like, I don't even know what I'm saying, but the energy is moving. The energy is moving. Let me take a pause here. Lashandria, welcome. I think it's your first time here. For me, it's about not resting the stillness and drop in and connect with my higher self. Yeah. Family who has turned their backs on me, but now I see it happening from me and not to me. Yes. Yes. Before I finish, I do have something I want to just wrap things up with. And please drop your comments, anything you would like to share or ask questions, please feel free to do so. Oftentimes we see a lot of things like, you know, come and relax, come and reduce your stress, come and reduce your anxiety, reduce your depression, like all of these things. And again, I want you to contemplate, right? You don't need to take my word for it, but really feel into this. It's like, will you actually worry about the depression and anxiety and your stress if you knew that it was happening for you? If you knew that everything is happening for you, if you knew that your reality is a mirror of what is going on, what is your next level, what are the magnificent changes that are waiting to drop in, to be embodied by you. If you knew that, would you be frantically fixing? Would you be frantically trying to hide that, oh, I'm so ashamed that I have that, and maybe my workplace will be terrified to learn that I do have that? Or as coaches and mentors, even like, you know, I will be embarrassed, or I shouldn't let my clients know that I'm not feeling well. You know, there are these hyper fixations on ideals in our heads that are driving us into our graves, literally, because we are seeing things as such black and white, like this is bad, this is good, this is bad, this is good, that we don't realize that actually everything is really subject to the law of relativity. And secondly, everything is a mirror. It really is. It's simply a mirror. If you are triggered by something and you think that they are the reason you are like this, think again. I know it's a very harsh truth for some to swallow, but this is your highest level of liberation. Trust me. I found my way through this work in a very gentle and elegant and graceful way. And this is why I highly recommend having a mentor walk by you to guide you, not to, you know, tell you what to do, but like to really guide you and let you unfold as the divine that you are. And this is why I created spaces like this, like mentorship spaces here. It literally is to walk with you, to shift timelines, so that you can carry that out into the world as well, in your life, ripple that out. Hell, please do. And yes, it all exists in a bowl of tea. It all exists in a bowl of tea. So thank you so much for joining me today. I really am so excited. I do want to share something really incredible happening in my life. So let's go there. Let's go there. Some of you already know this. I have an incredible luminous one-to-one mentorship for 6 months or 12 months, 2 options that you can tap into. For the 12-month option, I have 2 spots left, and the 6-month, 3 spots left. And it's a place called the Unnamed. And this is how great and beautiful and gigantic that energy is, because it really is the unnamed. It is a place for you to flourish, to move, to dance with Tea Spirit. This is where Tea Spirit dances with your multidimensionality and allows you to embody your truth in this earthly existence. Not when you draw your last breath, but literally now, in the moment, moment by moment. There are only 3 spots for 6 months, 2 for 12 months. And if you, this is something I just added, which is so incredible, the bonus for joining now until 19th of April is a 3-month mastermind membership to a brand new space that is going to launch very soon called Majesty. And it is based on the gene key, I believe 53. So more on that very soon, but you will receive a bonus spot worth £3,333 when you join now. So literally for the price you're paying, you're getting like £9,999 worth of value for 6 months, or $15,555 for the 12-month option. So it is truly incredible. So if that's something for you, please tap the link in my bio, check that out. If you have any questions, yes, Ilana, thank you. You will be able to walk with tea. There will be initiations. There will be a Telegram mentorship space. This is something I've never offered before. This is the first time, where you also get teachings, initiations, and practice sessions. You learn about the ceremony, you learn about how I work with the energy field, and you learn to work with Tea Spirit yourself, how the language of tea lands for you, and you can bring this out, whether you want to do it in an official space or you want to have it in your personal life. It's all up to you, but it is truly transformative. It is a transformational, ceremonial, holy temple that we are really opening up. So I'm very excited, and I wanted to offer that bonus to allow your logical mind to take that step if it needs that validation. But I really just want you to be there, and I just see that it is significant when you are able to tap into a mastermind space called Majesty, based on the cities of Majesty. And it's all about presence. It's all about the portal of transformation. It's all about really tapping into embodiment. And we really need more embodied souls right now, more than ever. Embodied high-level souls, masters, who you all are, by the way. Okay, that's all from me today. I need to run because I have a podcast interview in just like 1 minute. But I send you all my love, and I hope to see you very soon inside the spaces that I just named. The unnamed. Big kisses. Bye bye.